everyone. I'm going to call this county board meeting, the May County Board meeting, to order at 5:30 p.m. And we would like to open with the invocation moment of silence from member Crystal Abel.
Thank you very much. Tonight, for the moment of silence invocation, I'm going to read excerpts from The Peril of Indifference by Eliezer Wiesel in honor of Jewish American Heritage Month. Eliezer Wiesel was a Romanian-born American writer, professor, political activist, Nobel laureate, and Holocaust survivor. He authored 57 books, written mostly in French and English, including Night, a work based on his experiences as a Jewish prisoner in the Auschwitz concentration camp. And again, this is excerpts, so please feel free to read the whole speech that was given in 1999 at the White House in your own time. It's very important. Okay, so indifference can be tempting, more than that, seductive. It is so much easier to look away from victims. It is so much easier to avoid such rude interruptions to our work, our dreams, our hopes. It is, after all, awkward, troublesome to be involved in another person's pain and despair. Yet for the person who is indifferent, his or her neighbor are of no consequence, and therefore their lives are meaningless. Their hidden or even invisible anguish is of no interest. Indifference reduces the other to an abstraction. In a way, to be indifferent to that suffering is what makes the human being inhuman. Indifference, after all, is more dangerous than anger and hatred. Anger can at times be creative. One writes a great poem, a great symphony. One does something special for the sake of humanity because one is angry at the injustice that one witnesses. But indifference is never creative. Even hatred at times may elicit a response. You fight it, you denounce it, you disarm it. Indifference elicits no response. Indifference is not a response. Indifference is not a beginning, it is an end. And therefore, indifference is always the friend of the enemy, for it benefits the aggressor, never the victim, whose pain is magnified when he or she feels forgotten. The political prisoner in his cell, the hungry children, the homeless refugees, not to respond to their plight, not to relieve their solitude by offering them a spark of hope, is to exile them from human memory. And in denying their humanity, we betray our own. But this time, the world was not silent. This time, we do respond. This time, we intervene. Does it mean that we have learned from the past? Does it mean that society has changed? Has the human being become less indifferent and more human? Have we really learned from our experiences? Are we less insensitive to the plight of victims of ethnic cleansing and other forms of injustices in places near and far? What about the children? We see them on television, we read about them in the papers, and we do so with a broken heart. Their fate is always the most tragic, inevitably. When adults wage war, children perish. We see their faces, their eyes. Do we hear their pleas? Do we feel their pain, their agony? Every minute, one of them dies of disease, violence, and famine. Some of them, so many of them, could be saved. And so, once again, I think of the young Jewish boy from the Carpathian Mountains. He has accompanied the old man I have become throughout these years of quest and struggle. And together, we walk towards the new millennium, carried by both profound fear and extraordinary hope. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Morlock, if you'll call the roll.
Lindsay Bloomfield, absent. Mark Klaus. Present. Leah Klein, absent. Alex Duffy. Present. Sean Fagan.
Present.
Buck Farley.
Here.
William John Friedrich.
Here.
Eric Hansen.
Here.
Val Lehman.
Present.
Brian Leffler.
Here.
Mike O'Neill. Here. Adam Reeves. Here. Jim Rogal.
Present.
Natalie Roseman Mendoza.
Present.
Jeff Tompkins.
Here.
Andy Zebarth.
Here.
Crystal Abel.
Present.
Corey Byrne.
Present.
Beverly Bell.
Present.
And Elizabeth Johnston.
And I am here. We have 18 members present and 2 absent, and that means we have a quorum. Moving on to item number 5, appearances by members of the public and county employees. Ms. Taylor, do we have anyone?
We have had one request. It is there on your
Okay.
speaker board.
Thank you. Mr. James Baker. All right, if Mr. Baker is not here, we will move on. Item number 6, that is the consent agenda. I'll need a motion and a second to bring it onto the floor. And a motion by Member Byrne. Can I have a second by Member Duffy? Comments or questions on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of item 6A, or 6, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We have one resolution honoring Mr. Dick Kellerhalls. His family could not be with us here tonight, so we are going to have Vice Chair Rogal read it out loud, and I will be presenting it at the Laborers Hall at their next meeting in June.
All right, is this on? Am I good? All right. Resolution of McLean County Board in recognition of the life and service of Richard Dick Kellerhalls. Whereas Richard Dick Kellerhalls was born to Nolan and Esther Kellerhalls in Weldon on January 5th, 1929. He spent time at Father Flanagan's Boys Home, now known as Boys Town in Nebraska, in his youth. He returned to Central Illinois and worked on a farm in Saybrook for a year before enlisting in the U.S. Army and being stationed in Italy for 3 years. After returning home, he joined the U.S. Army Reserve, through which he served on occupational duty in Okinawa, Japan for a year. And whereas Dick Kellerhalls was a dedicated member of Lyona Local 362, served as a union officer, the first president of its retiree chapter council, and a faithful attendant of union meetings. During his tenure as president, he was noted for his leadership in keeping the union together through some difficult times while laying the foundations for its pension fund, which still provides for members and their families to this day. And whereas Dick Kellerhalls was a steadfast volunteer assisting in Lyona Local 362's many community-donated labor efforts, which included the World War II Monument and work for the Compassion Center, the Boys and Girls Club, the Bloomington Housing Authority, the Salvation Army, YWCA McLean County, and the annual Children's Christmas Party. And whereas Dick Kellerhalls was the 2000 WJBC Laborer of the Year, and in 2004 received the Illinois AFL-CIO Robert Gibson Community Service Award. And whereas Dick Kellerhalls dedicated his life to his family, his community, and his brothers and sisters of Laborers Local 362, living his life with good humor and deep caring for all, and was happiest when surrounded by his family, his fellow workers, his fellow retirees, and his Apollo Acres neighbors. And whereas Dick Kellerhalls passed away days from reaching the milestone of being a member of Laborers Local 362 for 72 years, therefore be it resolved that the McLean County Board recognizes the commitment Richard Dick Kellerhalls made throughout his life to McLean County, adopted by the McLean County Board this 15th day of May, 2025. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rogal. We're going to move on to standing committees, and that goes back to Vice Chair Rogal with the Executive Committee in 7A.
All right, hold on a second. Thank you, Madam Chair. 7A, 1A, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2025 combined annual appropriation budget ordinance for Fund 0007. This vote requires a 2/3 county board approval pursuant to 55 ILCS 56-1003, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Hanson. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A, 1A, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Back to you, Vice Chair Rogal.
We have no other items to be presented for action. Our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes. I can answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Moving on, we have item 7B, Finance Committee, and that is Member Lehman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Finance Committee has 4 items to bring for action this evening. Item number 7B, 1A is the request approval of an agreement for animal control shelter services with the City of Bloomington, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Leffler. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7B1A, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item number 7B1B is going to be the request approval of an agreement for animal control warden services with the City of Bloomington, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Fagan. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7B1B, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Back to you, Member Lehman.
Item 7B1C is the request approval of a resolution establishing the budget policy for fiscal year 2026, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7B1C, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Member Lehman?
Item 7B1D is the request approval of Schedule A, calendar for preparation of the fiscal year 2026 budget and 5-year capital improvement budget, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Farley. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7B1D, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to you, Member Lehman.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. That will conclude our items for action this evening. Items for information can be found on our general report, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have along the way.
Thank you so much. Moving on, item 7C, Health Committee, Member Byrne.
Thank you, Chair Johnston. The Health Committee brings no items for action this evening. Our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes. Quick update from this week's Board of Health meeting. There was a new grant funding diabetes education that was approved. There was a very interesting discussion that came up from one of the physicians on the Board of Health who described diabetes in our county as an epidemic. This new grant will go towards diabetes education. We're looking forward to partnering with them. Also heard some great updates on the work of the Behavioral Health Coordinating Council and their work in the committee, supporting a new community for the unhoused, to funding much needed software updates. BHC is funding a myriad of initiatives across the county, and we're very pleased with it. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
we are. Thank you so much for that update. So moving on, we will have item 7D, and that is Justice Committee, and back to Vice Chair Rogel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Justice Committee has 3 items tonight for action. First one is 7D1A, which is request approval of a State of Illinois intergovernmental agreement between the Illinois Department of Health Care and Family Services and McLean County State's Attorney, agreement number 2026-55-013-IGA, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Hanson. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1A, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to you.
7D1B is request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2025 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 0001, Circuit Court 0016. And this requires a 2/3 county board approval pursuant to 55 ILCS 56-1003. And I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Duffy. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1B, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Next up, we have 7D1C, which is request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2025 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 0001, Sheriff's Department 0029. This also requires a 2/3 county board approval pursuant to 55 ILCS 56-1003, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Natalie Roseman Mendoza. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1C, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
The Justice Committee has no other items to be presented for action. Our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes. I can answer any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Rogal. Moving on, item 7E in Property Committee, and that is Member Abel.
Thank you so much. The Property Committee has no items for action tonight, but I do have some items for information. We are going to have a property tour on June 6th. Ms. Morlock has been organizing that for us. You should have gotten an email if you're interested in joining us. So please, if you are, let Julie know that you are interested in coming with us. We'll get to see our progress on all of the building projects that we've had done, and I would love for you all to join me out at Kamalara Park after the official meeting and get some burgers at Green Gables. So if you're interested in being out for the day, please let Julie know. And I also wanted to point out some things in the general report with Kamalara Park. Exciting things have happened out there. We're going to be getting a new playground. The dump station's open. We've got some ADA compliance updates that are happening this month. And extended hours start during Memorial Day. So the visitor center is going to be open 8 to 6. The bait shop and boat rental will be open 6 to 6. And the swimming beach will be open Memorial Day weekend from 12 to 5:30. So if you haven't had a chance to visit the park, get out there pretty soon. Neat things happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's very exciting, and I will say I've done the property tour multiple times. It is invaluable as you're beginning to consider different items that are coming to bear. It's a great opportunity to ask questions of facility. They will be there. They're always there to answer questions on what's going on, what's coming up, what they're anticipating, and just to be better prepared as you're handling property issues. So yes, I would encourage you, if you haven't already made plans, if you can, to go. So thank you, Member Abel. Moving on, item 7F, that is land use and transportation. With Member Klein absent, I will turn it over to Member Reeves.
The Land Use and Transportation Committee has one item for action, 7F1A, request approval for intergovernmental agreement for rural public transportation services with Connect Transit.
And can I get a motion? Motion by Farley. May I have a second? Second by Rogal. Any comments or questions? All right, seeing none. All in favor of item 7F1A, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on, item 7G, and that is the County Administrator, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no items to be presented for action tonight, but I do have a quick update. Our inaugural class from the Growing McLean County Leadership Academy, I guess, finished that curriculum in May, and I'd like to recognize the commitment of all the leaders in McLean County that completed it. There were several different departments that were recognized as being part of this inaugural class, and I think they are a testament to what we can see for the future of McLean County. And so the attendees who graduated were Kimberly Bolster, Nashira Brown, Rhonda Flagle, Joseph Gaither, James Gilbreth, Amanda Gobin, Sean Harner, Luke O'Hulan, Raymond Lai, Marita Landreth, Taylor Martinez, Joy McKinney, Jessica McKnight, Sarah Meager, Suzanne Montoya, Aaron Scheidley, Marshall Thompson, and Bradley Wood. And I thank them all for their commitment to McLean County.
Thank you so much. That's all you have tonight? Okay. Moving on, and we've got, I just have one announcement. In the last few days, we noticed that in the process of updating our rules, what we did in December, there was a small section that got left off. So members of the Rules Committee, we are going to ask for a good 10, 15 minutes of your time between the Justice and Finance Committee next month. So you'll already be here, hopefully, so that we can have our quorum. So it'll be June the 4th, immediately following Justice. Again, we'll just need 5 or 10 minutes of your time to add the Parks and Rec Department back into the Property Committee under our rules for oversight. Other than that, I have nothing else to communicate. Does anybody from the board? Yes, Member Hanson.
I just want to take a moment and congratulate and thank and applaud the fantastic work of Home Sweet Home, as well as our fantastic BHCC in their endeavors to support our unhoused community. The work that's being done for the tiny homes is fantastic, and being that it's in District 8, my district, I'm incredibly thankful and excited to see this happening. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. And I believe my understanding is that that proposal will come to us. Will it be June?
we are anticipating the contract will be resolved for the June cycle.
Excellent. So we'll be able to vote on that and get that moving, hopefully to break ground before it gets cold again. So other than that, I want to thank you all for your, oh, that's correct, Member Byrne.
Thank you, Chair Johnson. I would like to recognize and commend a longtime McLean County small business that just closed its doors for the final time today. Carl and Travis Thacker have run Carl's Pro Band Repair and Sales since the mid-1990s. If you're in the local music scene, then you've likely known or have worked with the Thackers and know their professionalism and their highest quality of service. I've worked with them in my days as a music student at ISU, a band director, a professional musician, and as a music parent. I wish Carl the best of luck in his future retirement and fishing career, and Travis the best of luck in his future endeavors. Thank you both for your years of service to the musicians of McLean County. We will miss you.
All right, thank you. Any other announcements from the board? Seeing none, I do want to thank you for your service to the county, for your attendance here tonight, and the important work that we do. And this meeting is adjourned.